Jonathan, in the book, you talk about a man named Bruno Lohse, and you say he had a very fine war. So, who is Bruno Lohse? And kind of briefly, we'll get into it in greater detail as we go on, but why was his war so fine?
Great question. So Bruno Lohse is the subject of he was Goering's man in Paris, and Lohse was an art dealer, an art historian, also a member of the SS. And in 1939, he was conscripted into the German army and sent to Poland to fight. He was actually injured there, but about a year and a half later, he received a telegram from Goering, personally saying, would you like to come to Paris and work for me? I need art dealers, art agents in Paris. And Lohse thought about it. Did he want to stay in the East and prepare to invade the Soviet Union? Or did he want to go to Paris and help Goering?
How long did that thinking take?
Tough choice.
In hindsight, after the war, he said, well, I didn't want to be in Paris, and I always asked to go back to join my regiment and fight on the front, but those were hollow words that did not ring true. And when he arrived in Paris, one of the first things that happened was there was a visit of Hermann Goering to the Nazi plundering headquarters in the Jeu de Paume Museum. The agency was called the ERR, or the long term is Einsatzstab Reichsleiter Rosenberg. And initially, it was created to fight the ideological enemies of National Socialism, to collect the archives and libraries of Jews and Freemasons and communists and others whom the Nazis viewed as enemies. But it really turned into the premier art plundering agency in France and Western Europe. And Lohse was basically positioned, he was stationed at the Jeu de Paume, at the ERR headquarters, and ultimately he became the co-director of the ERR. He rose into a very significant leadership position. And so he was in Paris from 1941 to 1944 until Paris was liberated in August 44. And yes, he was a very powerful individual, right? He had Goering's support. He was a member of the SS. He had an opportunity to embezzle and enrich himself. He lived in a beautiful apartment right off the Champs-Elysees. He had mistresses and, champagne and Maxims and silk stockings. And that was his life for 3 years as he was plundering art.
But he was only following orders.
Exactly, that's what he said. I was only following